Hi, welcome to PHP and MySQL video. We are going to start MySQL. This is a list of suggestions how you can use this video. The notes for this video can be found here at this URL, which is loaded here. And if you scroll down to step 3, MySQL and PTO examples, we are going to start the MySQL statements, commands. If you want to look at the commands, you can actually click on the link here. Okay, or you can follow the video. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to start our XM. Your XM, so far we have been using Apache. So now we are going to start MySQL. Okay. So this should be the only MySQL database running on your computer. If you have another MySQL database running, you need to shut it down. Okay. So now what? We have a MySQL database server running on your computer. What are we going to do about it? So very long time ago, if you actually, so MySQL was invented some time ago, right? And to make use of the relational database, when it first started, we actually do it in the shell. So if you go to the shell here, click on the shell, you have a shell open. Okay, and you can change the font. If you right click here and look at settings, you can actually change the font. So this is the command prompt, and if you go to command prompt, I think under appearance, you can actually change the size of your font and the height of your line. Okay, I use 15. Okay. And then you can close the settings and then you're back here. Okay, so you can change the font size over there. If you close this, another way to look to start a command prompt other than the shell, you can actually go and look for CMD, okay, which is the system command prompt. You also open command prompt, but you appear at a different place, okay, which is C drive. So to use command prompt, you need to know MS-DOS commands, which is not many people knows nowadays. Okay, but when we are doing MySQL, we don't really need those commands, but if you need to navigate and move files, you need those commands. Okay. All right, so let's come to the command prompt from here. Instead of look for it, doing a search, the first thing you want to do is go to the MySQL database. Okay, when the MySQL database is first created, let me close this. Don't shut it down. Just close this. When do I still need this? I don't need this yet. So when the MySQL database was first created, they create a user called root. It's a super user. And the password is empty, which is kind of scary because there's no password. So the first thing if you set up a MySQL database server for other people for serious things, you should change the password to something that is not empty, or else everybody can go in from the internet. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is to log in as root. MySQL, launch MySQL database server. User is root, and enter password -p. What is the password? The password is empty. So you're in, and you realize it's not called MySQL, it's called MariaDB, which is the open source free version of MySQL server. Okay, so we are going to use the term interchangeably because we are not paying for MySQL, so we just call it MariaDB. Okay. So the first thing to go in, people will think that, hey, I have a super user root, no password. The first thing to do should change the password, right? No, wrong. Actually, the first thing to do is to create another super user. We are going to create another super user called Harry, and password is elbow monkey with the wrong spelling. Okay, so and you know the spelling, but other people don't. And then we go back and change the password. Okay, so the first thing you do is to create a new user called Harry and elbow monkey. You can do it in PHP MyAdmin, but since we're introducing how to do all this in command prompt, so you'll not be scared next time if you see something like this, we're going to create a user here. So grant all privileges. Okay, before we carry on, just want to mention that MySQL commands, some of it are case sensitive, some of it are not. Okay, like the commands are not case sensitive, but the so it depends on a couple of things. Depending on the operating system, the MySQL database is running, and it also depending on what is being used. So normally, database names, table names are case sensitive, but the keywords are not. Okay, so if you want to be super sure, just treat it as case sensitive, so you won't get into trouble. Okay, although it depends. Certain things are, certain things are not. Just like PHP. So grant privileges, all privileges on everything to a user called Harry at the localhost server, which is a database server, not the MySQL server. Sorry, which is the MySQL database server, not the PHP server. So just mention that. Password is semicolon to end the statement. Can I make it longer? Yes, I can. Okay, so if it's correct, just hit enter. So they actually created a super user called Harry. Okay. And before I log on, log out, and log in, I'm just going to show certain commands. One command is help, right? This will show you all the commands you can use inside. Okay. And the next thing I want to do, I just want to show databases with an S. So these are the databases they create. They give it to you like information system schema, MySQL, which contains all the information the database need to run, and other stuff, PHP MyAdmin, which we are going to use later, and then the test database, which you can test things. So before we do anything, I'm just going to create a database. Remember, we are still logging in as a super user. Root. Okay, create database sample. Now, when you say show databases, you actually create a new database, which is empty, and the name is sample. Okay. So now we are going to change the, we are going to log in as Harry. So we're going to exit. So you're out. Now, remember we created a super user called Harry and the password is elbow monkey. So you want to go in as Harry with a password option. They say, what's the password? Oops, doesn't show it. So this is the password I want to use. Okay. ELBOMONKEY. Hey, you are in. Now, if you can show databases again, and then you can use sample, which is now you are in the sample database. Okay. Obviously, there's no table when you try to show table. So now, technically, you can create a table here using SQL commands like we normally do. Okay, so one of the prereq for doing this class is you are quite experienced with databases, especially relational databases. So I'm not going to explain what all this does. So we just create a table in the command prompt. Okay, so we are going to create a table called domains with an S. And the first field is called ID, is an integer. It's not noun. And is going to be auto increment. Okay, and then the second row, we say the primary key is called ID. And then another field is called domain, which is a varchar of 20 characters. Another field is called gender, which is a character of 1 character, male or female, or something else. And then we have male. Okay. And then if you hit enter here, realize the last one is a semicolon. If I don't key in anything wrong and hit enter, the table is created. So now when you show tables, you actually see the domains, and you can insert commands to it. You can describe, say you describe. You can see what the domain is about, and then you can do other things. Okay. Okay. My video is getting a little bit too long, so I'm going to stop here. In the next video, we are going to start from this screen. In the next video, we are going to change the root password. Remember, root has an empty password. We're going to do that. So before we do that, so right now we still log in as Harry. So we know Harry works, so that's great. Okay, let's exit. Okay, so the next video we are going to log in as root. Okay, see you soon. We'll be right back.